What's going on with y'all, man? Now, this will be the second episode of story times that I've told so far. But in this story time, I'll be talking about the first basketball game I ever went to. Now, this was around January. This was like last winter, like before I got into the place that I was in during the winter. But I don't remember if I left to go there, if I left, what time I left to go to school because I got the tickets from a security guard at school. And I remember I wasn't really in college at the time. I was just there in the lunchroom playing Halo too. And it was, I think it was, oh yeah, it was raining that night. I remember. So I was at Housatonic, and that's in Connecticut, right? That was where I used to live. And I was playing Halo 2 in the lunchroom because I had my Dell laptop at the time. This was before I got the laptop I have now. And I was just chilling there, playing, practicing, whatever. And this is when this is before my PS5 controller got stick drift, because I remember, because I've had that PS5 controller for like a year, the same blue one that I have now. And I went to get up to go to the bathroom, and the security guard, she asked me, she was like, God bless her soul, I don't remember her name, but she asked me, she was like, oh, do you want tickets to go see a basketball game? And I was like, yeah, sure. I was like, definitely. I never saw a basketball game before, like, ever. Like, growing up with my mom and my dad, our favorite team was the Pistons. And that was when I used to watch sports, like, with my parents. It was weird because I never really watched, like, the basketball games on my own. But, like, I would watch it with my parents or whatever. And, that was, like, a couple of years ago. Growing up, like, when I was younger. Around the 2K14 to 2K17 era, I would say. Around that time. I honestly fell out of touch with sports. I don't really watch sports no more like that. Like I used to when I was younger. Like I'd watch basketball, but even I barely watch basketball like that. So I don't even watch TV no more like that. I mainly just watch YouTube, like game reviews, like whatever interest is toward my passion or whatever can be whatever I find interesting on YouTube I watch. But I try my best to stray away from like drama videos and stuff like that. Sometimes they're funny to laugh at, but I don't try not to watch them too much. But back on track. So she gave them to me, and she told me, she was like, if I were you, I would go because the game's about to start soon. And I was like, all right, bet. So I had on, because I remember I had on a green North Face, and I still have the North Face now. And the North Face, my aunt gave it to me. And this was at the time when I was at the place that I used to live in. Well, I used to live in a room. I didn't really have my own space. And I lived with older people, and it was like roaches everywhere, crawling up and down the walls. Like, even though my room was the cleanest room in the house, because the whole house was dirty, I couldn't do nothing. Roaches in the bathroom, roaches in the kitchen. I had a mini fridge that I used to eat out of because I didn't even want to cook in the kitchen. Like, even my brother had to come at that time and literally help me clean the place. That's how bad it was. But that's a story that me and him will tell at another time, another day. But, that's where I was living at for like a little bit. I lived there for like a couple months and then I left. I think I was there for like 3 months because I could not take that no more. Like, imagine coming from being homeless and then you finally get somewhere to sleep for like a little bit and then the place is disgusting. But you take it because you don't have nowhere else to go and you don't want to be out in the cold. But anyways, back to the story. So I took the tickets, and I think I had the Nikes on that I do now. I don't remember. I think I had on some black pants, and oh yeah, I remember I had on a hat, and I think I had a do rag on because it was raining. I had my book bag with me, my laptop, everything. Oh yeah, I remember when I met the security at the gate. I think yeah, the security guard, he was mad cool. I think he was like a white dude or whatever. And like he checked my bag and stuff like that. There's other security guards, like a black security guard. He was like, "Oh, where are you coming from?" I was like, "I'm coming from school." That's why I have like all these books and stuff in here. I think I had my Bible in my bag at the time, my laptop, my controller. I told him, I was like, I do YouTube, I be playing games, stuff like that. He's like, okay, I understand. And I think the only thing I couldn't have was like a water or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he was like, oh, when you leave the stadium, just come back and get it from me and we'll give it to you. And I was like, all right, bet, that's cool. So I went in the stadium and I'm gonna put up some pictures of the stadium. Bro, I was in awe. Like, even though it was a G League game, if I'm not wrong, I think, yeah, it was a G League game or something like that. Like, the fact that I was even in a stadium was the coolest thing that I ever saw. And, like, I was looking around, I was like, whoa. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I kind of got a little bit, like, I was kind of nervous a little bit because it was my first time ever being in the stadium, so I didn't really know what to expect. Like, you see games on TV or baseball games or soccer games or football games. You see those stadiums, but it's nothing like being there in person. It's a completely different scenario when you're there in person. And sometimes I can be a little bit like kind of standoffish from everybody and just kind of be in my own lane. I went to the bathroom. I wanted to buy some food, but I didn't really have the money because at the time I was working for a job where I was supposed to be selling phones and stuff like that, for a company called Gen Mobile, and I wasn't even making no money off the phones because every time I would try to sign people up for the program, it wouldn't work, so I didn't make any money from anything. So at the time, I didn't even have money or food stamps to get me any food, so that sucked. But I went in the stadium and I sat like to the far left, and I'm gonna put like some of the footage in here. And like I was like away from everybody. I was in like my own little area, just watching the game. And I'm glad that I recorded some of it, because that was probably like one of the coolest things I ever saw. Like, honestly, I remember. I think I stayed to like about the fourth quarter, and I left because I had a headache because I didn't have like no food that day. And I remember like I was hungry, and I think I had like food back at the house. And this is at the time when my brother was helping me out with food and stuff because I didn't have food stamps at the time, and my brother, he had a food stamps card. So whenever he could, he'd tell me, "Yo, get you son, spend like $100," which I definitely appreciate my brother for doing that at that time. So, but yeah, like the game was back and forth. Like it was definitely close. But I think the other team, I forgot the name of the team, like they broke away and they had a lead where their momentum was pretty much like kind of stopped. Like in this gameplay that I have right now, like I played 2K14, like quick game, like for the first time in a while. I played on Hall of Fame. I did not know what I was doing, like in terms of like running plays and stuff like that. I was just shooting threes, like whenever I was open, because I know how the Hall of Fame AI is. So, like whenever I had an open shot, I just took it. So I didn't really. I honestly forgot what the Pistons were capable of in this season. So I forgot Jonas Jerebko could shoot and Vinny Ueva could shoot too. Like I know KCP could shoot, and I knew Singler could shoot too. But Jennings' shot, like I was releasing his shot like way too late or way too early because I kept thinking that the timing was quicker than it actually is. You have to hold it longer and it release it at the top. So I kept forgetting that. But yeah, honestly, that whole scenario was a blessing. Like even in the worst situation with where I was living at and the circumstances, I still had some type of fun, and I was happy that I got to experience that. Even though I'm not gonna lie, like I was depressed a little bit during that time because it's like you come from being outside and then you end up in a situation like that. It sucks, but I still made the best of it that I can. But I'm glad I did leave my hometown because if I didn't leave my hometown, I wouldn't be doing better now if I didn't. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. God blessed me with those tickets to watch that game, and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even been able to see that game ever. I thought about the time that I was in high school, and I don't remember if I asked my mom to go to prom or not, and she said no. I don't even remember. I think I wanted to go or I just didn't go. It was either one of the two. I remember staying home and playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. I mean Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. It was the first one. And I think I literally stayed home and played multiplayer. I didn't even go to prom at all. And I thought about that. I was like, you know what? I have the opportunity to experience something I never got a chance to experience. I'm not gonna pass it up. So, but yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Gonna post some more in the future, and I catch y'all later. Take care.